does need to be a bit careful. But maybe with the Flame Guard, maybe the Sleight of Fist, they can, at the end of the day, just come out even on the mid lane. I don't think it's going to be a scenario where you have too many kills coming out of here. I think both sides just need to farm up. Pota will need a Blink Dagger. Kui will probably be going for that Vessel into that Kaya. As kill shot up for the Wind Rangers. CJ is playing a hero that does not like that Wind Ranger's power shot, because the Morphling likes to stay under in low HP. He has 180 HP right now, and the reason CJ wants to stay on low HP is that means every tango, every use of the magic stick enables him further. As CJ is gonna get stunned up and may not be able to regen away. He will be able to waveform away though. Came down very close. He could have actually gone down, but he didn't. That's what counts. It's the 3 heroes from Mervox who are at the very top of the net worth of the last hit chart, and will probably be at the top of the net worth chart as well. Morphling is only at about 7 CS. This is not too good, as CJ needs to be very careful still. Will acquire the banner creep, so nicely done by him. The Ursa warrior, Maivo, or rather Womi, is doing pretty good in his own lane at the very least. 3-minute Lotus is going to spawn, and for Young G, this is trouble, because can he actually stack up against the Ursa warrior with the Fury Stripes coming in? The Ursa Womi doesn't actually have the support here nearby, but he does have the Fury Stripes, and with one more, that will be first blood drawn by Womi on towards Young G. Lloyd will be able to trade, but at the end of the day, that was your carry on Mervox that you just ended up losing. Towards that bot lane though, Juju will end up going down. Triple X will find the kill, and not too bad from Mervox, but you have to be careful of the kind of damage the Ursa warrior can bring in. Womi can just cut through your entire lineup if you're not, if you're not careful. Oh, CJ eventually ends up going down towards that bot side. A Triple X picks up what was a solo kill on that Morphling. That is something that should never happen, because you always have that waveform, but he didn't have enough mana for it. So has the infused raindrops now, but with that kill, I think Mervox find the advantage, or find the recovery for their evident loss towards that top side, the loss of the first blood. Because they took the carry down. They have a carry farming, but I wonder who the real carry is for Veroja. Is it CJ, who's currently playing a Morphling? Because it does seem that Womi will be able to come online much faster on this Ursa. He'll have a phase boots up soon, and might just end up going for that Battle Fury. Although I wonder who the farm priority will go towards. Will it be Womi farming up on the Ursa, or will it be CJ farming up on the Morphling? Because both of those two heroes can't. Someone has to rotate around with Pota to try and get some kills happening. As Pota does not go down the kill shot, and unfortunately for Kui, that means he in fact will go down. As no return trade happening, Playhard still has another power shot, wants to dish it out on towards Pota, but I don't think the Tiny will end up going down. Has too much HP. 1400 at the level 6 mark makes the Tiny very difficult to actually kill. Teleport's going to come in once more, as Kui has yet to hit his level 6. Not too bad from, I would say, both sides. It is Veroja playing a defensive though. They're constantly responding to what Mervox want to do. They're not actually going in themselves. As Kui will just look to pick up the 6-minute power rune, but there may be an engagement towards that bot lane. Triple X, there's a Thunderstrike on top of him. Juju can't choose to glimpse him back, but then they need to think about how they actually plan on taking Timbersaw down. And it seems pretty hard without any burst ability.
Radiant are scanning.
which is something they don't have on any of their heroes apart from the mid lane Tiny. CJ, he missed the waveform. Needs to be so careful here. Every time he waveforms in, he takes in so much damage. Has skewed up the Vladimir, so that's something that's going to help the Ursa Warrior too, as Vomi ends up going for a Diffusal Blade. This is, you know, it's a good item on the Ursa, I suppose. It's good for finding pickoffs, but is it really good as a, you know, I think when an Ursa builds up a Diffusal, you lose the ability to scale up as quick, because then you don't have any flash farming capacity. Ursa's farm is actually pretty slow without the Battle Fury. So if you do go for a Diffusal, you're going to need to constantly be on your toes, or rather keep the other side on their toes, constantly take pickoffs, constantly get map control, you know, take away space on the other side. Just do what an offlaner does best, but with an Ursa who has a Diffusal. It's not exactly super easy. But Kui comes in, spots out the Batrider for a very easy kill. And now makes his way towards that mid lane. Has the Remnant planted down here, Pota will be able to pick up the Illusion Rune, and Kui cannot actually fight. It's a shackle found on towards Juju. Disruptor has nowhere to go, but Kui has no more mana. Needs to be very careful here. They'll be able to take Juju down, but over on the side, Pota ends up executing Kui. Again, not exactly worth it for Mervox. They lose their mid laner. And even Lloyd is going to end up going down. One more toss will be Lloyd's end, and it is going to be a double kill for Pota. Not exactly trades that are worth it. I don't know why Mervox identified a target in that Disruptor, despite the fact that your heroes were so low. And now with CJ having the Morphling replicate, he'll be able to take a Timbersaw down because it's pure damage against Triple X. CJ coming out with a kill, and perhaps a very appropriate voice line, because it did seem like Mervox are just overextending in so many of these lanes. Vomi.
Radiant are scanning. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Young G needs to be super careful. In fact, Young G is actually going for a Hand of Midas. I do not like this approach. Womi is a bit isolated. I think they'll be able to bring this Ursa down, but Pota does come in with an avalanche toss to distract them away from their Ursa, but he may have succeeded. However, Pota now needs to be careful himself. He'll end up going down as Womi is isolated. There's just an Ursa and a Tiny to support each other, and it's never going to happen. 2 quick kills picked up by Mervox as they brought 4 heroes in here, and the rest of Veroja did not decide to join the fight. Buha was farming away towards the mid side, despite, or rather, he just got the lasso. Juju, meanwhile, very close to his static storm, but even he does not have his 6. They'll take away the hard camp, as that one has got to sting at least a little bit. It's not going to sting that much, because their ancient camp still stands, but it is a big loss to their lineup. I mean, it does seem like both teams are coming in a bit shaky against each other.
Every coin helps.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Buha waiting for the lasso, but there's enough Vortex Shield, so this isn't exactly a good lane to wait in, if I'm being honest. Pota will be able to secure the Haste Rune, and with the Haste Rune, this makes a counterplay impossible, even though there are 3 heroes. Diffusal Blade coming for the Ursa Warrior now, and Youngji, he went for the Hand of Midas. This is... I think it's not exactly that good of a position to be in. Pota, meanwhile, will go down, so I suppose at the end of the day, Mervox, they're getting kills left, right, and center, so might as well try to make it work. They'll take Buhao down as well as the waveform comes in. CJ is there with the Wind Ranger replicate, trying to get a kill here, has the power shot, and might be able to take Lloyd down at the very least, but there's some amount of HP. Lloyd able to build up the space, but should just end up falling to the power shot. Kill shot actually coming into play. And sure enough, it is return kills. That one was a 1 for or 2 for 1 rather. That was pretty well worth it for Mervox, but I'm afraid for them. I really am, because it does seem like Young G is going for the greediest carry build ever. The Midas into Radiance, which means you're gonna give so much space to CJ. Like it's just a ton of space to this Morphling and to this Ursa Warrior to just continue farming. Maybe the Ursa goes for some kills, who really knows? As Buha will take apart all of these stacks and will be very close to his Blink Dagger once these stacks end up going down. I think he's going to end up with around 1500 gold. Of course, the Morphling is here to try and secure the last hits for all of these Ancient Creeps. As CJ is going to end up with that Yasha. Pota also pretty close to his Blink Dagger. As they say Juju, they're gonna make their way on top of him. Searing Chains, there's a whole bunch of abilities being dropped down, and Juju will end up going down. It's a good pick-off. It is just a support, you have to always consider that. But a good pick-off nonetheless.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
No tower actually being under threat here. I think all these towers are still pretty healthy, but Vomi does grab the first tier 1 tower, or rather the second tier 1 tower of the game. Veroja certainly ahead in terms of objectives, if not ahead in terms of kills, and their Morphling is pretty far ahead of any other core in this game. 7400 up for the Morphling means that CJ is going to be a force to contend with, and I'm not exactly sure if Mervox has the heroes to contend with CJ. Sure, they have the Timbersaw with coming in with the pure damage. Maybe the Timbersaw can end up doing it. Triple X really needs to play out of his mind in order to carry this game, because he needs to carry his team with a Timbersaw. And at the end of the day, it's not as if their other heroes are doing pretty well. Kui will end up going down on that mid lane, has that Vessel, but doesn't have the follow-up to use it. I think that for Mervox, because they're playing such a greedy carry, I'm talking about the itemization choices, they're now forced to stick together, join their mid laner and their off laner every single time they want to kill. Unless it's on these melee supports, they can take those down pretty easily. Pota comes in with the escape act, disabling the toss, but the toss back will finally be there. Triple X needs to be careful, but Vomi is the one who has the enrage activated against the Wheel of Wonder. It doesn't actually work against him. They'll end up with 3 kills as CJ even joins the Morphling, picking up a kill too. Every single core picking up a kill there in that fight. 10 to 11 now, 2000 of a lead up for Veroja as Juju ends up being the target. Kui is going to be able to pick up a good kill. It's a solo kill, but now they're going to come in. Vomi coming in with a Blink Dagger. The Avalanche is going to be there as Kui will end up getting quelled down, and that is truly not going to be worth it for Mervox. 1300 gold going the way of Veroja. They have the Blink Daggers on not just Tiny, but also on Vomi. He has a Diffusal Blink right now, and despite of not having a flash farming capacity, he can outright punish Youngji. In fact, Young Ji might just end up being dead. Slow down as his borrowed time comes out, and 2 more hits will do the trick. This item choice, the Midas on your carry, means that you no longer have a carry. Is he really going to go for the Radiance? This is going to be a 25-26 minute Radiance at best. Or maybe he has a talisman, so it's not going to be super late. It's probably going to be at the 21-22 minute mark, which is okay. It's not that bad. But then you really do need to fight. And you need to win, because right now this game is scaling out of control from the hands of Mervox. You even have a Blink Dagger up for Bruhau. He can grab anyone up. And without the Abaddon nearby, because sure, you have that hard dispel, but the Abaddon needs to be in place to actually use the shield to save his allies. I think they found their mark. I think they want to move in on towards that top side. But no, they're just going to go back. Both teams actually waiting for someone to show up on the creep wave. And neither team showing up. It will be Triple X who will reveal reveal himself. But Veroja won't bite. They won't actually fall prey to that little bait. Then instead go for a wraparound. Pota with the tiny. Unfortunately, he has an entire courier. Or rather, it was a disruptor coming in with the courier. Pota, he's a bit too far forward. He will actually catch the Wind Ranger, toss her up into the air, but the Wheel of Wonder will start to come out. Static Storm will keep Pota safe as Womi takes out Play Hard. A lasso found on towards that Timber Saw as he is isolated, goes for the Timber Chain away, but in between of 5 heroes, Triple X has no hope of survival. It'll be an instant transition into that Roche Pit as a 7,000 lead has now built up for Veroja, and even the Aegis will be up for grabs unless Mervox contests. But without 3 of their heroes, how do you in fact contest this? CJ with a Manta style, Womi with a Basher up soon means that it's really hard for Veroja. Even Play Hard is in a bit of trouble. Does have a nice shackle, and the power shot, the kill shot, comes out on towards Pota. He was not expecting that one to be a factor. Perhaps he should have been expecting that, as you'll probably have that Radiance coming online in about 1 or 2 more minutes. You also have a Shrine of Wisdom spawning for both sides, but I suppose it's okay. Queen needs to be careful. Well, turned out he should have been more careful. He'll just get grabbed up with the lasso as CJ will use the cover shot, or rather the shackle on Play Hard himself. Triple X will go in on an Ursa warrior who has the enrage. These plays are never going to work out as CJ goes in forward. Pota coming in with a 2-man avalanche, and another shackle found on Timbersaw. Unfortunately, he's a bit too tanky for Veroja to actually take down. CJ on the tier 3s might want to get back, or rather get down from there and just focus on the tier 2s. That is the big prize. That is the objective they came in for. With only 2 minutes left on this Aegis, they don't have too many ways to take down these towers. And we're only 22 minutes in. They're making a play on Womi, or at least I think they are. You do have a Blink Dagger up for Triple X. As he Timber Chains forward, he goes in with the Blink Dagger, and one Whirling Death will be enough to take out the unstoppable streak. 1,000 gold. 1,000 gold going the Timbersaw's way. Lloyd will get grabbed up, taken out by Pota, as it's a bit of a face-off between the Timber as well as the Tiny, but I don't think that's a matchup the Tiny can win. Well, at least maybe he can with the backup. He finds a toss back on towards Young G. Buhao. He has the safety net of the kinetic field, and Triple X's Blink Dagger is going to be disabled, but there's no real damage dealer incoming. Their Ursa is dead, CJ is here, but they didn't take the tower down, so it's not all that bad for Mervox. They're able to hold on to these objectives, even if they have to throw some bodies to the floor. It's still okay. Pota comes in. Ooh, play hard. Able to run away. Pota needs to be careful. Static Storm is actually placed down, but the Glimpse doesn't actually bring Triple X back into it. Womi, meanwhile, wants to jump in with the enraged Pota coming in with another avalanche toss on towards Triple X, who is taking in too much damage. Has to try and get back, but CJ is on the chase. Will be able to rip apart that Timbersaw, as the rest of their lineup is vulnerable. They'll lose play hard as well towards the side, and no one from Veroja has actually gone down. They'll take the tier 2 tower, and this is just brutal to watch. It really feels like all hopes are pinned on this Timbersaw to provide the buffer for a lot of these team fights, but he can't lift up a skyscraper on his back. He's one person. We will be able to teleport away in time. Won't be getting caught there, but it's so hard. There's an entire butterfly up for CJ. How does Young G, who barely has an item right now, he has his Radiance now, how does Young G stack up against this Morphling? There's a 5,000 net worth difference here. It really feels like an uphill task. CJ can just waveform himself to safety, but actually it's a play on that Timber. As soon as you lose the Timber, this fight is going to be over. But they do manage to get the Timbersaw out. Meanwhile, they go in. It's a play that hasn't worked out. Now, it is going to be a 1-for-1, but your mid laner has been lost. Pota, meanwhile, finds an avalanche toss. Still glimpse the Wind Ranger back. Take out the Timbersaw, and then deal with play hard. CJ ends up with a triple kill. And this game is looking a bit over. There just isn't simply anything that Mervox can do. Too greedy of the way that they played their draft is just super greedy. A Midas Radiance on your carry is rarely going to work out. CJ will end up going back on the Morphling. They've actually dealt with a full lane of barracks, as it is going to be Kui held inside of the Static Storm. Even Playhard is actually going to be tossed back, glimpsed back. They're just getting messed around with at this point, bullied around by Veroja. As it does seem like the bullying is not going to come to an end. Lloyd is going to get sent up into the air as well. CJ will end up with the triple kill despite not actually doing much in that fight. Just really playing around with Kui. The buybacks instantly come out as Pota will feel the burn with that one. Did overextend right outside the cusp of that fountain. And they'll in fact lose Juju too. So nice returns being found. You do have to keep in mind that those were 2 buybacks that were used. The mid laner Ember had to buy back, so they only found some returns for their buyback. They didn't actually come out with any kind of an advantage. You have yet to push out some tier 1s here. Even the mid side tier 1 is very healthy, 1500 HP. Top side tier 1 at around half of its HP, as it's not a good look. It really isn't. CJ has that Chrysalis. Womi building up to that BKB will have it in about 200 to 300 gold.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Oh. Potax. Well, we'll ignore that, I suppose. Pota will go in for the toss back on towards Lloyd. They'll make do with the ranged barracks, as they'll just signal out that top lane. They want to just get this game done and dusted with. 29 to 17 kill feed may not be showing the one-sided nature of this game as it stands, but a 20,000 net worth advantage at the 29-minute mark may suggest some one-sidedness here.
Dire are scanning. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
Womi? Needs to be careful. How careful? Well, turns out he doesn't want to be careful. You don't tell Womi what to do. In fact, he'll even be able to turn it around on towards Queen. He'll be able to just rip apart the Ember. And even though Playhard is going in, it's Playhard who does need to be careful. No more wind run available means that both of these two heroes will fall, and even Triple X will end up joining them pretty soon, as he's held in by that static swarm, and there are 5 heroes on top of him. Just being ripped apart at this point. As Womi will probably end up going for that Abyssal Blade. You have a Daedalus up for CJ. They're probably waiting for that Aegis. So once you have that second Aegis, you can then go high ground for the last reign of barracks, secure Mega Creeps, and end this game. But it seems like they don't want to wait for that Aegis. And surprisingly, even though Kui bought back that he is on his dieback counter, he doesn't actually have too long of a buyback of a respawn cooldown. Oh man, Lloyd ends up falling before he even has a chance to use the escape hack. DJ inside of the fountain, as Lloyd will just simply call GG. The full team wipe coming about 30 minutes in, but really it did seem like greed did not pay for Mervox. They should look towards picking up some more stable item builds. Midas plus Radiance has too long of a return on investment. I'm not even sure if a full 60-minute game is worth that kind of investment. I think Mervox, they quite frankly, they lost. They didn't lose their lanes. More so, they should have itemized a lot better, and they should have been able to play against the kind of tempo that Veroja were bringing in. It did seem like, despite of being able to put a halt to, or rather put a stop to that Morph thing for a little while, and even to that Tiny for a little while, everything turned around on top of its head when Womi was just outright manhandling the other side. That was just game number 1. We will have the opportunity for Mervox to perhaps turn it around and take Veroja to game number 3 with a comeback in this upcoming game. We will be back for that game right after a short break.
remaining.
In one of the last remaining series for the group stage, Veroja up one game against Mervox in this best of three really did seem like, despite of the greedy draft coming out by Veroja, it was a greedy itemization set of itemization mistakes that Mervox made. Let's see if they'll be able to adjust around it, as this time around Mervox bring in the Dragon Knight and a Shadow Demon, a hero that does do well against a Tide Hunter. Even the Hoodwink does pretty well against a Tide, because the Hoodwink comes in with the break, Shadow Demon comes in with the Demonic Purge. But Veroja, they'll actually pick up an Ogre Magi, something that we haven't exactly seen all that often in competitive meta, just because of the randomness, relies on RNG, and I think teams have shied away from playing with RNG based heroes. But what I'm more interested in is seeing what CJ and Pota will be playing. Womi, of course, will be playing the Tide Hunter.
5 seconds remaining.
They see the Dragon Knight. Unfortunately for Veroja, both the Amiibo and the Storm Spirit have been banned out. Veroja will actually just pick up an Invoker for the lineup. A scary amount of control and magical damage coming up from Veroja's lineup, if I'm being honest. But it's not as if Mervox don't come in with damage of their own. I think this is a pretty good draft from them too. Sharpshooter, Disseminate, and the Dragon Knight's ultimate. Mervox thinking about their fourth pick here. Not exactly too sure what they will go for, but I do think they need to add in some tankiness to their draft. Their two supports are very squishy. Gyrocopter as a carry, so that means this Dragon Knight will be a mid lane hero. And Veroja know this, so they have the Invoker, so it is going to be a bit of a stable mid lane for both of these two sides. I don't think that the Dragon Knight is a threat to the Invoker. I don't think the Invoker is a threat to the Dragon Knight. But I think the Invoker will be a threat to some of those side lanes, particularly if he does go for the Agent of Galaron facet. Mervox ban out the Morphling. I'm not sure which carry Veroja will go for. I just hope it's not a Drow Ranger like we saw yesterday. I don't actually think they were the ones who played the Drow. I will just open up the standings, the group stage matches in front of me. It was Veroja who actually played the Drow Ranger in that second game. And they got hammered, they got destroyed, obliterated in that second game. You don't pick up a Drow Ranger in the current season of Dota 2 and expect it to work, even though it might have been a semi-decent game for the Drow. You may want to look for a hero like the Terrorblade in this game, but Veroja like to close out some drafts in style. Yesterday, they actually played again. I think it was the second time I actually saw it. CJ's Naga Siren. He plays a pretty good Naga Siren, and it does seem like it might be a good Naga Siren game. Sure, not against a Gyrocopter, but against the Hoodwink and the Shadow Demon, it can end up working out well. You'll have the Song Tidehunter's Ravage too. Again, I'm not suggesting it because Naga is a great pick here. I'm suggesting it because Veroja do certainly like to play with those kinds of niche carry picks. Drow Ranger, Naga Siren, heroes like that. Veroja actually didn't ban anything out for their fifth ban. They might not actually ban anything out right now either. They're certainly. I hope they're not disconnected. I hope this is just them. So they ban out the Doom, and they'll give up one of the bans. I suppose they ran out of time. Hopefully they have their carry pick sorted out.
10 seconds remaining. Dire team
Mervox picking up a Primal Beast. Not exactly too sure who the offlane is going to be. I think it is just going to be the Primal Beast, right? Because the Dragon Knight is much better on the mid lane than he is on the offlane. Veroja, they see the Primal Beast against them. They know that picking up a melee hero might not be the way to go about it, but you can always go for the Slark. I think the Slark is pretty good against the Dragon Knight and the Primal Beast. Despite of the fact that Slark may not be too good against the Gyrocopter, it will be Alina coming out from Veroja, and this Alina carry might just end up being Alina carry if I'm being perfectly honest. Vomi picks up the Tidehunter. So yeah, this is Buhao picks up the Skywrath Mage. CJ picks up the Lina. So let's see what Veroja can do with yet another niche carry pick on the Lina. I don't think there were too many changes to this hero in the current patch. So I think I have seen Veroja play with this hero. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember the outcome for the Lina. So the upgrade for the Lina is that the cost range for the Laguna Blade is massively buffed. 600 and the 600 to 750. Intelligence gain has also increased, so you'll probably have more bits of damage coming out from the Lina, and some more mana, some more just some more utility as well. So it's an interesting pick. Again, there's not too much to be read into a Lina carry pick, because it says it's just Veroja trying to display style more than anything else. As that Ogre Magi set scares me, and I really do mean scares me in okay, yeah. Let's see. I very much do favor Mervox's draft, just for the record. I think that they have the sustain, they have the damage, they have the follow-up, they have the they have the late game scalability potential. Veroja, again, niche picks are so difficult to actually predict, because it really just depends on how you perform with those heroes. Just in a straight up conventional draft, I think that Mervox should win this game, but Veroja demonstrated last game, even with a niche position 3 Ursa, that they were just able to dominate Mervox. So we'll see if that happens yet again, or if Mervox can keep themselves in contention, can keep themselves in the running, and secure the series away from Veroja. A 4-man smoke comes out by Triple X and Crew and Co. Crew and Co. Crew and Company. But the Dragon Knight isn't there with them. So I am not sure. Actually, they're dispersing all around the map. Play Hard Smoke is the first one to be broken. Juju will, of course, step back, because you don't want to wander on against a Hoodwink. You don't know who's behind him, even if there is no one behind him. I think they're just going to play it safe. Not really extend anywhere, as it will be 2 and 2 bounty runes each, so no side actually picking up an advantage. There's not going to be first blood drawn either. Triple X will take away the creeps here. So he's playing the Primal Beast of old, where you're just playing behind enemy lines, pushing towers in constantly to the tier 1, making sure the tier 1 falls a bit faster, as Play Hard will unfortunately be massively under-leveled because of this technique. But maybe he just stacks up against CJ. Juju has gone for the learning curve, so CJ needs to be a bit careful. Trample comes out. Light Strike Array has been used, but it's actually Play Hard who's going to end up falling first. Not really expecting too much there. Young G actually ends up going down. So it does seem like Mervox, they're not actually expecting, or they're not actually calculating these plays. And you really do need your safe lane to at least work out. Young G is playing a gyrocopter. He needs to have an okay-ish game. Sure, he can have he'll have the opportunity to recover, but the amount of tempo that Veroja will bring into the mid game is going to be difficult to fight back against. Invoker Pota has gone for the Agent of Galaron Facet. He does have that Sunstrike, and later on will have that Cataclysm at the back of that Ravage and that Light Strike. It's a lot of stuns. 4 of their heroes come in with stuns. Ravage, Light Strike Array, Ogre Magi, Fire Blast, and even Unrefined Fire Blast if he gets to that Scepter. As it's just heroes dropping like flies. Playhard ends up going down. The Ignites just a bit too much at this point. Level 2 Ignite, 30 damage per second for 6 seconds, 180 burn damage. And because you have the... It's a dumb luck. You have decent mana restoration, I suppose. It's not actually that much. He's only 0.6. Lost hits wise, so Invoker not really doing too well, but it's still stacked up equally in terms of lost hits compared to the Invoker. Youngji should just find his recovery, should just continue to farm up, not really think about, you know, how the state of the game is, not really think about how the pressure on him to actually recover or to have more lost hits than CJ does, because CJ will naturally be ahead. I think the Lina has a massive advantage, at least in terms of just having that very high attack range. Has Juju as well, who can be a bit of a defensive and aggressive support. As Triple X continues to pull the waves here, doesn't have as many lost hits for someone that has pulled so many of these waves.
No money. It's all the same to me.
Both sides now playing it passive. I suppose it's the right idea. I suppose you don't, you know, you've already given 3 kills away, so unless you want to make a move on Veroja, don't give Veroja the opportunity to get more kills. That could be the way to go about it. CJ, this could be huge though. If they can actually find the kill on CJ, they will not be able to. CJ will end up picking, or rather turning it around. Light Strike Array lands onto Playhard with the Sunstrike. It will be enough damage to take Playhard down. And that is the 4th kill up for Veroja. Pota doing okay on the Invoker. I mean, sure, he's behind the Dragon Knight, but this is to be expected, at least for a little bit. And I wonder if Kui will go for a Mage Slayer, because it does seem like a really good Mage Slayer game. Against the Invoker, the Lina, the Skyrats, against just about anyone from the side of Veroja, I think the Mage Slayer will be doing pretty good. But then you fall into... You know, if he goes for a Mage Slayer, he might not be able to scale as well. And you really do need to scale. So maybe just getting that Blink Dagger would be pretty good. Just so you can close that gap. You're playing with a lot of melee heroes on your side. At least as far as yourself and the offlane goes. You need some way to jump on Veroja to have a setup for, you know, your Sharpshooter, your Gyrocopter's call down, your Primal Beast who's gonna onslaught in, grab someone up with the Pulverize. So it does seem like a Blink Dagger is the way to go. But we'll see what he settles for. As Lloyd comes in from the backline, this could be huge, this could be pretty big. if they can find the kill. The Bushwhack to start things off with as CJ, he will unfortunately miss his light strike array and will end up going down. The first kill of the first kill for Mervox being acquired, and it's a pretty big one. On the carry for Veroja, perfect rotation coming in from Lloyd. This is what they need to do. Juju will deward the observer that enabled that kill to happen, but the kill, unfortunately for Veroja, has already happened. As another sentry gets planted down, but Pota will just end up swatting it out. It'll be denied away by Playhard as Kui found the Dragon Tail. Buhao is coming in, but the Bushwhack is actually going to hold Pota in. Tornado gets sent out as he activates a cold snap instead of the ghost walk, decides to play it aggressive. In fact, it might just be enough damage to take Kui down, but Buhao is taking in damage from his own side. Disruption comes out from Lloyd as the Dragon Knight was in trouble, and Bushwhack save coming in by Playhard. Both supports playing out of their minds in this little skirmish, but in the end, it will be Mervox who come out on top. Concussive shot landing on Playhard as Playhard will get traded out, but he will still be able to find the kill after he goes down. Still not too bad for both sides. I think they're going to be happy with that, with Veroja demonstrating that they can actually fight back pretty hard despite the fact that Kui was able to find. Kui was the one who started the fight.
Dire are scanning.
Well, it's Buhao, Laguna. Sunstrike is gonna miss as Lloyd is gonna come in with the disruption save. Buhao cannot secure the skill, will end up going down. First, Playhard will stay alive. Yeah, Playhard will stay alive. Top with Juju coming in from the side there, Playhard might end up going down, but the Sunstrikes have not been on point from Pota. He's going for that Hand of Midas that cost Mervox the game. He lost game, but maybe with an early Hand of Midas coming in for the Invoker, he can make it work a bit better. It's still a 1,000 net worth advantage, but at least Mervox have disabled the snowball away from Veroja, right? They were 4-0. Now at least they've been able to find 4 kills. So they're in a pretty good spot. They do need to start scaling up on their gyrocopter, and he should be able to find the recovery. He is farming away under, you know, right in his lane. The Tide Hunter can't exactly do too much, but Vomi is going to be a force to be reckoned with. It's just farm away on that Tide Hunter, flash farming. In fact, he is at the very top of the net worth chart. The Lunar CJ trailing right beside him, and he's going for the Maelstrom. So it does seem like Veroja are building up some firepower on their side. Kui will end up picking up that Arcane Rune. Unlucky for Pota, he would have liked that rune, but that's okay, I suppose. That's dragon form used in the arcane rune, so when it goes, you know, on cooldown, it's going to be back up pretty soon. It's on cooldown right now, but this cooldown doesn't count. You have to subtract the duration from the cooldown itself, right? 60-second duration means that it's going to be on cooldown for a total of 15 seconds. Of course, that calculation changes if the Dragon Knight dies, because then when he respawns, he doesn't have that transformation, and of course, he isn't exactly in dragon form while he's dead.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's a smoke play. They see Kui, but this is such a difficult kill to get. Tornado to start things off, and Fire Blast is going to come out, but Dragon Tail was used. Pota needs to land that Sunstrike, but will not need it because there is no support arriving. However, it will be a trade. Womi goes down towards that bot side, decides not to use that Ravage. It would have been a futile attempt. Not too bad for both sides. I think even for Mervox, whose Dragon Knight got ganked, he's not going to be too unhappy as long as his team gets something in return.
Radiant's middle tower
There is going to be a bit of a tower push coming in, and the question is,
is under attack.
will they defend? There is support arriving. Hui does not have a Blink Dagger and sees Juju as his first point of contact. Playhard did end up getting hit by that Ignite, so throws out that Bushwhack. I'm not sure if they can actually defend this tower without bringing in significant numbers. They need their Gyrocopter, and in the end, this tower is going to end up dropping.
Middle tower is under attack.
Cannot be denied because Kui would have been hit by that Fire Blast. Topside though, CJ was potentially in danger. Onslaught was used. Trample comes out too. Sunstrike isn't going to land, but CJ, can he get this kill here? Has a lot of fiery soul stacks. Life Strike Array is going to land, and Triple X is going to be a goner.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Kui is going to jump on that Skywrath, as Skywrath will end up going down.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
Womi not very close, but decently close to his Aghanim Scepter. I think he has as much farm as Triple X does. A bit more, but that's okay. Because Triple X is going for a much better item because he can get it earlier. He's going for that Blink Dagger. That will enable them to actually fight early on. Speaking of fight, Play Hard, he has the Sharpshooter. Unfortunately, there's a Sunstrike on top of Play Hard. But Young G will be able to come in with the flat cannons, able to take them out. A Ravage comes out, but not in time to keep Pota alive. Womi will end up going down too as Veroja. They have been caught. And they've been caught in a compromised position. Womi will end up going down. Lloyd with a double kill. And Veroja don't even get the tower. So for Mervox, this is overall not too shabby. Not too bad.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire are scanning.
Blink Dagger initiation. Sharpshooter will come in too eventually. But the Shield of Scion builds up some space. The teleport is coming in from Pota. The glyph comes out, so Kui can't take out the creep. It's actually CJ who comes in, and it's not going to be Pota. Laguna Blade to take out Kui. And again, despite the advantage being in the hands of Mervox, it is a bit troublesome. Because at the end of the day, Veroja are farming away. And they have some pretty big power spikes on the horizon. I think that Mervox need to make moves with their Blink Daggers. Triple X and
Tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower.
Triple X and Dragonite, Triple X and Kui need to start making plays around the map.
Radiant's top tower.
Veroja otherwise are just going to suffocate Mervox. Aghanim Scepter is not really too far away because Pota, he does have 3 components of it, or will have 3 components of it as soon as he's done with his neutral camp, and will have the only 1200 gold remaining from that Aghanims. Vomi is in a similar state. He only needs about 850 gold to acquire the Aghanims. And CJ is just going to farm up, continue farming for as long as he wants on this Lina. Good pickup on Juju though. They take out the support. It is just a support though, but it's a start. Now, they still need to get some kills. That is another good kill. So 1 support is okay. 2 supports are actually pretty good.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
419 from just the 1, and I imagine it's another 300 or something, 400 something for the second support, so around 1,000 gold going their way. They're playing it careful. Vomi might just end up getting gone on. They are going to start things off, and teleports are going to come in, at least the one from Wuhao. Sharpshooter to break that Tidehunter, but the Ravage comes out in response. The Mystic Flare coming out onto her Triple X, as it will end up being a full disengagement by Mervox. They do not want to fight their way into this one. And that counter initiation is something that they will always have to be afraid of.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Kui goes in, but Pota was right there. It's going to be a full Chaos Meteor combination on top of Kui, and that was a blunder being made by that Dragon Knight. Initiating right in front of that tier 1 tower in what was obviously going to be a bait. He fell right for it.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
As Pota is going to be hit by that Purge. Vomi is here as the Cataclysm comes down onto her Playhard, and that will be a kill with a Deafening Blast. Things are once again starting to snowball. They're not out of control by any means. I think Mervox have a really good shot in this game, but they need to continue with their shot. They just can't, they can't allow Veroja to snowball like this. That's Kui. Needs to be careful. Do not go on towards CJ, but perhaps for Triple X, they want to take a fight. Concussive shot is going to go out on towards Kui. It is going to land. CJ knows that Triple X is there. Light Strike Array is going to miss. Gush is not going to land on him too, as Triple X tried to go in for the Pulverize, but instead just got hit by that Silence. Kui is isolated too, with both the mid laner and the off laner fall. And there was no one else nearby. The Shadow Demon, Lloyd, decided to disengage. The Gyrocopter never wanted to come in, and they did not have Play Hard. So it really does seem like that was a bit lackluster of a play, as even the shard gets picked up. It's that shield, that fire shield coming online for that Ogre Magi. Now with that 85% damage reduction, that's pretty significant. They know Young G is here. They're pinging out their outpost. Teleport is going to come in from Vomi. as Lina is coming in from the side. CJ sees Youngji. The gush is going to start going out. Homing missile is going to get cancelled as Youngji is in trouble. Cataclysm is going to come down once more on top of that gyrocopter who's trying to run away but stuck. Slowed down by the gush. Disruption save coming in by Lloyd. They're doing their very best and they'll actually be able to take CJ out. Gush is going to mess and Vomi will not be able to secure the kill. It'll be the gyro who'll just teleport away, but taking Vomi out is a bit tricky. I think Vomi cannot be stopped right now. One anchor smash will take out the Shadow Demon. And they also took the Dragon Knight out towards the other part of the map. I think Triple X needs to be careful. I think Vomi is deceptively strong here. Another gush thrown on towards Triple X. Slowed down. One more Arcane Bolt will end up sealing the deal. Triple X has fallen. As Buhao trying to run, the Arcane Bolt does give them the vision. Concussive shot is going to land, and that will be the third, or rather, the fourth kill. And all Mervox found was that Lina. Sure, it is a carry Lina. Sure, it is the most farmed hero in the game, but not worth it. Not worth it to lose 4.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Who turned up the heat?
Aegis up for grabs right now for Veroja. They're currently 1 up in the series, and Mervox really need this game, because if Mervox do not win, then they might not get a chance to qualify for the playoffs. They might not get a chance to play for that prize pool. And they fought so long and hard in a lot of these series. Have had some impressive showings, particularly, you know, have had some impressive showings in the last season too, but
Radiant are scanning.
just can't quite make it work for a lot of these matches.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Tornado EMP just for a bit of poke and prod.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire are scanning.
Sunstrike? But the uproar is going to disable it. Well, not disable it, but I suppose it's something. Play hard. Oh no, touch teleport is not going to be possible. Laguna Blade, Light Strike Array. CJ will be able to pick up a very easy kill. Level 18 Lina means level 3 Laguna Blade, 1000 magical damage, and also comes in with that supercharge. 12 stacks for the Fiery Soul, so 12 stacks would be around 300 plus attack speed, I'm guessing, because it's 32 per. Right, 12 stacks of the supercharge. It is only just a 5-second duration, but 5 seconds of 300 plus attack speed is quite a lot of attack speed.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They've yet to make moves across some of these tier 2 towers though. As CJ might end up getting initiated upon, but is it going to just be Queen? No. Shadow Demon is going to come into, and they might have enough. It's actually going to be a gyrocopter teleporting in, as CJ has the Aegis, has the Dragon, or rather the Hurricane Pike to build up some distance, but Lloyd is going to close that gap, and they'll be able to take CJ's first life out. But it has been delayed. Now Vomi is coming in, has the pipe to actually come in to help this Lina with. Ravage is going to be sent out as a Cataclysm comes down on top of Mervox. They've already lost one of their heroes. They'll be able to take CJ down, but in the end, they're going to get heavily punished for it. 2 of their heroes have already fallen, but the rest of them are fighting on strong. Pota is there from the side, EMP to catch out that Primal Beast. But Maibo, or rather Momi, is distracted by a Hoodwink scurrying in the trees. At the end of the day, it will just be a 2 for 2. And I think that's or rather a 2-for-1, and I think that's quite worth it for Mervox. I think if you're the Radiant side, getting anything you can get at this point is going to be great, particularly as it's not one kill they found, it is the one hero, but they found him twice. They did take the Aegis down on the Lina, and then they took the Lina down again. So it is, you do dismantle an objective and a potential push that Veroja were coming in with. Unfortunately for them, they're still not out of trouble. Pota will have a Lincoln Sphere. CJ will continue farming up. Almost has that Daedalus in about 500 gold, or rather in around 300 or 500 gold. Skyraz Mage has an entire boost of travel for some strange reason. Not really an item I expect on the Skyraz Mage support, but he has it. Polarize is going to come out on top of Pota. He will have fallen. Womi does not have the Ravage. It does seem like Veroja have massively overextended CJ. Lightstrike Array has been used, so they are able to fight back at least a little bit. But the Gyrocopter, Youngji is coming in from the side. Has that homing missile and that cooldown. It comes down on top of CJ. Hurricane Pike does keep CJ safe, but in the end, CJ is going to get stunned up by that homing missile and will end up going down. Triple X will be able to find the kill on Buhao, and for Mervox, they mitigate so much of that lead. It's brought down from that 10,000 mark all the way to that 5,000 mark. A 50% reduction. And for Young G, that's his way back into the game. Mantis style, Hurricane Pike, BKB, and now he's going to be making his way towards that Daedalus. So it is very much going to hinge on this Gyrocopter, what he can now get done while being fully farmed up. Pota is coming in. He sees the Gyro. Going to throw out a Tornado. The Cataclysm is also going to come down. Surely not, right? Surely he's not going to be able to solo kill the Gyro. I say that, but there isn't really anywhere Youngji can actually run. But does manage to create a gap. 401 movement speed, has the Afterburner, the Hurricane Pike, as well as the Yasha component of that Manta style means that he can get away quite easily. Buhao and Play Hard staring at each other, but I don't think I don't think they know that the other is there. Well, I mean, Buhao knows Play Hard is there because Play Hard did dish out a hit. Lloyd will unfortunately disconnect, but should be reconnecting into the game shortly, so we should be resuming pretty soon. Play Hard? Well, he certainly has to play on hard difficulty, but somehow he is able to survive. Glimmer plus 4-star plus the Scurry, it makes the Hoodwink a very difficult target to actually chase. Pota. On towards Kui, who manages to get out. Or rather, is it Pota who'll get out? No! overextensions upon overextensions, mistakes upon mistakes, as Pota will end up falling once more. Certainly he is a phenomenal mid lane player, but Veroja do get carried away sometimes. You know, they have the lead, they think they're super far ahead, but they're not. It does seem like that is something that they perhaps might want to work on. Overall, individual skill-wise, Pota is amazing.
Radiant's bottom tower
But just these kinds of overconfident plays
is under attack.
leads to a lot of teams finding comebacks against Veroja that otherwise wouldn't be possible. And now you take a look at the comeback potential. I think that Mervox may actually be ahead. 2 Daedalus on the horizon for them. Both Youngji as well as our Dragon Knight are making that Daedalus. Meanwhile, CJ does have that Daedalus, and you also have that Blink Ravage up for Vomi. And the control coming in from that Invoker. So it's not exactly a situation where it's out of hands by any measure. But this is where things get tricky. Because one lost a team fight, and not, you know, not a pick off, but a lost team fight, and you no longer possess the lead. In fact, you're going to be too far behind, and Mervox will have that comeback.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Tormentor picked up by Lloyd.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
They're hunting. Triple X, he sees his mark though. CJ will get picked up, slammed to the ground, and with 5 heroes on top of him, doesn't seem like he has anywhere to go. He has no BKB, so this is a futile attempt. He's trying to go for the teleport out and might actually find it. CJ coming up with a play that completely outmaneuvered the other side, outmaneuvered me even, because I thought he was going to die.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Surviving without a BKB when you have 5 heroes on top of you, that is impressive. In fact, Juju's going to be the one getting caught. And Juju's only mistake was that he was trying to come help out his carry. Lead completely gone right now from Veroja.
Radiant's top tower is under
They will have the Octarian score built up soon, but by the time they are going to be grouping up, Youngji almost has a Satanic. Buhao
Radiant's top tower
throwing out shots from that triangle, as Pota does end up taking out the barrier, or rather the tower. It's still very risky. The problem is that if Veroja win a team fight, this game still won't end. I think this game will very much come down to that 40, 50, maybe even that 60-minute mark. As Roshan is up, and you know the big prize is going to be Roshan for both of these two teams. CJ has the BKB. It is coming in the courier now. I wonder if you can go underneath the bridge. Maybe not, right? Aegis will be collected, because it does seem like that split push maneuver that Veroja came in with was successful. And Veroja have information. They see everyone from Mervox see them too. I wonder if there is a gem on any of their heroes. There isn't. But the fight will have brewed up. Pota sending the Primal Beast up into the air. Cataclysm is going to come down. Triple X has already fallen. As Juju is on that front line with the pipe. Can sustain quite a bit of damage coming out on towards him. The buyback is going to come out from Triple X. But the Playhard will have already fallen down. However, Veroja are pretty low. CJ might end up dropping here to the flak cannons. Does go down. As even Vomi will end up falling. There's a BKB TP attempt by CJ. It will be successful. He has left Buhao though to his fate. It's not a pretty good fate. And this TP, I think Buhao was a bit impressed by CJ's teleports. Decided to go for one himself, but was a very hard. I think Buhao knew he was dead when he went for it.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant
Poto will be able to collect the Shrine of Wisdom. Lincoln Sphere is gonna block Kui's stun out, and I wonder Poto could maybe have been able to take out Kui. Gyrocopter, Youngji. He is isolated. He does not have a BKB here. But isn't as alone because Triple X is nearby. The only problem is Triple X has used his buyback, so has Playhard. No one from Veroja had to buy back for a fight. Sure, they do lose the Aegis. Buhao. Cataclysm is going to buy them time, as it's going to be Triple X who is going to get caught out. That's his dieback. Kui has a BKB coming off of cooldown in about 2 seconds, but they've caught the Gyrocopter on the side. Kui will be able to teleport away, and Youngji able to buy some distance, but the Ogre sees him. BKB is going to start to come off of cooldown, but there's no mana for the teleport. So Youngji will have to actually just try to run. Held in by the anchor and brought down by Buhao. Wicked 6-3 going their way, but the real problem is you just lost your carry.
Radiant's courier has been killed. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Tier 3 tower
Radiant structures are fortified.
probably going to end up falling, or may not actually.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
But without your Gyrocopter, who does not have a buyback, this might just end up being 2 entire lanes of barracks. Mervox found the comeback for the momentary while, but now Veroja has this game under wraps.
Top barracks are under Radiant's top barracks has fallen.
All in that one team fight.
Has fallen.
Burns, doesn't it?
CJ even throwing some shade there towards the other side.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Romy goes in for another Ravage Cataclysm on top, and Squee has fallen. No buyback available for that Dragon Knight. A Pulverize found by Triple X, but there is just no follow-up. Triple X tries to do what little he can, but in the end, he too will fall. Everyone being ripped apart from Young G. But GG will be called. Lloyd will recognize it. Veroja will come out with a clean sweep against Mervox, and will end up with 5 series wins. So they're actually going to be at the very top of the group stage, right behind Yango Galacticos in the top 2 position. Meanwhile, for Mervox, we'll actually have to see if they end up qualifying for the playoffs, because I'm afraid that they're in the bottom 2. They might be ahead of Carstens, but with only 2 series wins, everyone above them has more than that. Everyone above them has at least 3 series wins. So we'll see what the group stage standings are going to be. For today, guys, that is going to be it. We only had 1 series today. We will be starting with our playoffs very soon. Maybe not from tomorrow, but we have to still figure out the tiebreaker situation. Perhaps there will be some matches streamed, some best of ones to determine the tiebreakers. Perhaps not. We'll keep you guys updated on the Twitter. To make sure to go to Twitter, follow Quinn Station over there. You may also choose to follow me on my Twitter. That's entirely up to you. But I will be signing out. It is exciting to see the playoffs once more with your show as your defending champions. Go enjoy that bit of a break that you guys do now get. At the very least, it shouldn't be that big of a break because the playoffs should be just around the corner in a few days at max. But again, you can receive the updates on Quinn Station's Twitter. So do make sure to continue to follow the tournament and show your support. For now, this is going to be it, and we will be back very soon. So see you all then.